We are joined today by Stanford men's basketball forward Cole Kastner. And for those that are, probably doing a Google search right now, I'm super excited to find out. We're going to talk through all of it, probably looking up like maybe where he played before. And again, we'll get into all of that. I'm super excited about the story today. Got connected with Cole through a long story short, looking up stuff for the magazine for everything college basketball, and stumbled across, his story. And I was really, really excited to kind of get into some things and understand what brought him back to Stanford in a fun full circle moment here. So I'm trying to, paint the picture a little bit here. But before we jump into all that, first of all, thank you for jumping on today with me. I know you got, student and student athlete. We joked about that before we started, probably in a classroom building somewhere, heading to class here soon, I know. So I want to get you in and out of here. But for the new folks that are around here, tell people who you are and we'll jump into your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's super awesome. My name's Cole Kastner. I'm a graduate student at Stanford on the men's basketball team. I spent the last 4 years playing lacrosse at the University of Virginia, and was so fortunate to have the opportunity to come use my fifth year and play a year hoops here at Stanford. I've always felt like a basketball player. Always loved basketball, so it's definitely an honor to be here.
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to read your career highlights that Stanford has in your profile because I think it's really funny. People click on stuff and they're like, okay, let's go look at what he averaged at the school before, right? People can't do that with you. Obviously, high school, a couple of cool things here that really stood out to me. You're from Palo Alto, so that's got to be, how far from Stanford did you? I know it's not a very big town, but like how far from Stanford did you grow up?
About a mile away.
Yeah, so that's what I thought.
Real
Okay.
Close.
So just a couple of the highlights. NCAA champion in 2021. That's Virginia Lacrosse. A two-time second-team All-American, as well as, and again, I'm just hitting a few that this is a page long. ACC Defensive Player of the Year in 2022, All-ACC twice, and then started all 4 NCAA tournament games on the way to the 2021 National Championship. So I'll just start with this. I think it's really, again, awesome story, right? Why Stanford? Why now?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I guess this dates back to maybe about 2 years ago, and maybe a little bit longer, and seeing Pat Spencer, who I guess for people who don't know, he was a amazing college lacrosse player, one of the best ever. He went and spent his fifth year at Northwestern playing basketball, and he really took with it and ran. Played for the Santa Cruz Warriors a little bit in the G League, signed a two-way deal. Is playing with the Warriors now. So amazing to see a guy from lacrosse in another sport make a pretty big impact in the basketball world. So he was an inspiration for me. And then when it came down to it, I knew I wanted to get back home. I knew I wanted to be in the Bay Area, and I knew academically I wanted to continue pursuing a program that I thought would help best equip me going forward. And the coaching change happened here at Stanford, and that was definitely a little bit of a wrench in the plan. But this new staff has been unbelievable. They were so encouraging for me, coming in here, and I think they're going to do incredible things for Stanford for the many years to come. So just really lucky to have this opportunity.
All right, expand upon that a little bit because I wanted to get to that because, Coach Smith, incredible coach, but first year, right? First year in a new program after what he's done in previous stops is very, very impressive. But you mentioned 2 years ago, it seems like this was kind of something that was always kind of on the horizon eventually. And so the previous was, if I understand you right, was the previous coaching staff just like in on it? Like that was like, this is going to happen if everything works out?
Yeah, they were really helpful with it, and had a bunch of conversations with them throughout the time. And then, yeah, all changed on a day.
So, all right. So I had this question prepared, and maybe it doesn't fit now that I know that, but who called who first? Like, did you call Kyle Smith and say, hey, this is how this worked before? And now I don't know. He's a really good recruiter. So I'm really what did that look, go wherever you want with this, but
Yeah.
I imagine that it wasn't just as simple as, hey, by the way, I'm supposed to be coming here, whether you're here or not. But, I'm sure there was something that along those lines that kind of happened. I don't know.
Totally. No, yeah, it wasn't that simple. I was really lucky. The old staff, a couple connections from UVA, all happened to be connected to, Coach Smith, and went out on a limb and advocated for me. So I'm incredibly grateful for all them for doing that. But I think once I saw, the transition, understood what Coach Smith and his staff was all about, it just made perfect sense for me, in all honesty. Like being one of 3 seniors or graduate students here, having 4 years of collegiate athletic experience, in the in the ACC, winning a national championship. I felt like I could really make a good pitch to him that I'd be a value-added addition to the team and really help set the foundation of this culture in year one for it to, grow and prosper going forward. So that was kind of the root of it, but it definitely took a little bit of communication back and forth here and there, and he was on board, so it worked out great.
What's Kyle Smith like? Because he's captivated the college basketball world recently, turning around obviously an incredible Washington State program last year. What's he like? Because I just want to be inside the doors with Kyle Smith for a second, because he's an incredible coach. But just for you, not having played organized basketball since high school, at least that I'm aware of, looking everything up, what's it like to play for a guy that is, I think, really, really heading in the right direction as a coach?
Yeah, he's amazing. He really is. He's everything as advertised and more. I think one thing that really stands out to me about him is he knows exactly how to build you up, build that confidence, continue helping you grow, continue helping you strive to be something better. And he knows when to, lay it on you a little bit and make sure he's bringing you back down to earth. Like, he's got a perfect balance of that. That's something I admire. I've been really fortunate to have some amazing coaches in the last 4 years. Coach Tiffany back at UVA and all the assistants that we had there. Coach Smith does it, better than anyone. He's fantastic. So yeah, it's been great.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask this, because we're going to get into your game here in just a minute as well, and just some of the situation with the team. You've got some incredible teammates, but did Tony Bennett ever call?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's so crazy to see him stepping down here. I looked at Virginia, like staying at Virginia multiple times actually. After my freshman year, we just won a national championship, and my identity, like really coming out of high school, was always I was a basketball player, just happened to be playing lacrosse. And so after my freshman year, I spoke to the staff at Virginia and had looked at the chance of being a player on the team, kind of balancing both playing lacrosse and basketball. There's just so much overlap with the 2 seasons that's really hard to sort out. And so I kind of figured, I could have opportunity to go play on the basketball team, have whatever impact that may be, or stick with the lacrosse program that had already done so much for me, and really trying to establish myself as a leader of that defense and program going forward. So yeah, it's kind of how I had to decide between the two a little bit.
I would have asked you that question in March before we knew what October looked like, excuse me, with Tony Bennett obviously retiring 2 weeks before the season. But I don't know, resume's pretty dope, national championship, and you can also say you're recruited by Tony Bennett to play basketball. Not many people can be like, yeah, Tony Bennett really was like, okay, let's do this thing. So, all right, I always like to ask this with people, like, was there any other school? I know the Stanford thing, we talked about the story at the beginning. I think that's really the coolest part about this whole thing is home. But was there ever, other than Virginia, because it's the familiarity of it, was there ever a place, or was there anybody else that was in the recruiting circle that was like, okay, we really want this kid in the program?
Yeah, definitely. Funny enough, Cal Berkeley was potentially looking about going there. My dad is a Cal grad.
That's awesome.
And
That's not where I expected you to go, by the way. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, trying to just be back home and in the Bay Area, as we alluded to. I was definitely looking at that, and yeah, just so happy it worked out to end up here.
All right, from a basketball perspective, like, people maybe aren't aware, you're really good in high school. Okay, like, I know people say, like, everybody at whatever certain level, like the fact that you are on a college basketball team and are probably going to be a consistent contributor is something I think people just are going to be like, okay, well, hadn't played basketball organized in 4 years. Like, we get there's obviously a bit of a transition there, and that was actually the whole reason I approached somebody to talk to you. I was like, okay, what's that transition been like? So talk me through that, and then how are you going to be impactful to this Stanford team that I think's pretty talented?
Yeah, definitely, man. We definitely have a great group. It's been a really interesting transition. Like, I think for the most part, most of summers when I was playing lacrosse, I dedicated mostly all to basketball. I just think, like, there are so many things that translate incredibly well from basketball to lacrosse and vice versa. So, that was comfortable for me, being back in the gym and working on that. I think from, like, a competition standpoint and playing against the caliber of player that we have, totally an adjustment, considering, like you were saying, the last, organized game I played in might have been March of 2020, right before COVID, which is a crazy thought. So that's definitely an adjustment, catching up to the speed of the game, understanding how to be an effective player on both ends of the court, playing against a guy like, going up and trying to finish against Maxime or dealing with pressure from like Jalen Blakes or something like that. We have so many good guys all over the court, so it's been pretty amazing to see that growth in throughout the transition. For myself and for the younger guys and transfers who are coming in, it's been pretty amazing. So I've enjoyed that.
Hey, you just mentioned Maxime. Like, talk to me about what he is as a player and what you've been able to chance to be around in the last couple of months, and how impactful he's going to be. Because that's somebody that has a chance to be one of the most improved players in college basketball. Combined with the fact that most people in the East Coast ACC games are going to turn him on and be like, "All right, cool. I'm watching this guy for the first time, and they're going to be blown away." And he reminds me a lot of Quentin Post at Boston College last year.
Definitely.
Obviously a lot younger, but I mean he's already coming along. It felt like quicker than Post was. I'm just trying to give you a nice comparison there. But talk to me about his game and just how impactful he's going to be as probably the lead guy for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's about as well-rounded of a player I've ever seen. He's a fantastic leader, first of all, off the court. Does such a great job with our guys, holds people accountable, brings, amazing energy. Generally you could feel like he's everyone's best friend on the team, which I think is something incredibly admirable about him. In terms of a basketball player, like he can work anywhere inside out. And I know that's been a big focus for him for the last couple of years. He's put on a ton of muscle, ton of weight. Like he's really hard to move. Gets to his spots consistently, can stretch the floor and shoot from outside. So he's going to do some pretty amazing things for us and whatever else he does going forward.
All right. Well, obviously you're on this team. You're not there to just like not play. So 17, 10, and 3 your senior year at, I want to get the school right, Menlo School in Palo Alto. So again, nothing that people should be like confused about when you're out there, probably playing 15, 25, 35, whatever it ends up being. But how are you going to impact this team? What's something you're going to be able to do early on that you'll be able to lean on that's going to bring value to Stanford?
Definitely. I think, you know, looking at the body of work that we already have a good 8 weeks or so in the summer and a good, 6 or however many weeks so far since the beginning of the school year, it's been pretty amazing for me to see like how much everyone around has grown. And I think, as a guy who's been a captain of two different teams in the past and have, that NCAA tournament experience, I think really just trying to bring consistency and dedication and a strong work ethic every day has been key for me, honestly. And taking care of everything I can before practice, after practice, and when I'm out there, I think will be really helpful for me to get out there and contribute. And whether my contribution looks like playing minutes for the team or just being a senior leader who's been through something like this and just a positive teammate, positive influence on everyone. I'll be thrilled. It's been great being a part of the team so far and looking forward to the rest of the season.
All right, I asked you for 15 minutes, and I know you got to get to class here soon, but I want to get you the last couple of things here. So I'll put you on the spot a little bit. Who are you looking forward to playing the most? Is there somebody in the ACC that you're like, maybe it's somebody that's been around a few years, maybe you're like, okay, now I've got the opportunity in front of me, and then where's somewhere to play, and you can't say Cameron or Dean Smith Center?
Two good questions. Man, I mean, it's so cool to have the opportunity to play against Virginia coming out here to Palo Alto. Like, that's unbelievable. Aside from that, though, man, we have so many amazing matchups that it's super exciting to me. Obviously having that, crosstown rivalry with Cal early in December, that'll be a fantastic tip-off for us in the ACC. But there's so many other games highlighted too.
Let's be honest. It's really sad. It's not a Pac-12 game. Let's just.
I know.
Just call
I
it what
know.
it is. It's really sad. It really is.
It really. Yeah, it is crazy. And I guess places to play. Those two are definitely circled. I got a couple good friends from high school that went to Wake Forest and dedicated, diehard Demon Deacon fans. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting out there in different place in North Carolina.
Funny enough, I actually just had someone from the department text me and was like, "Hey, like got a couple games. Which one you want to go to?" So I might have that one circled, man. I might see him Wake Forest. I'm not far down the road, so that'd be really, really cool. All right. on the way out of here, what's something you're looking forward to the most? I know you talked about like all the different aspects of the team coming together. We talked about Coach Smith and Maxime, and just you mentioned Blake, some guy that's got some incredible experience as well, one of the other grads on the team. But what's the thing you're looking forward to the most now, going from again 4 years in lacrosse to now playing basketball, finish this thing out, and obviously hopefully winning a lot of games.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as you said, all those different pieces we've talked about are boding really well for this program and trending the right direction for where we want to be, in year one of a new coaching staff and so many new guys. That whole process in and of itself excites me. Like I think the results will follow, but making sure every day we're taking care of everything that we need to continue improving. And really, it's just I think this is something I'm going to be proud of, to have had this opportunity, to be a Virginia lacrosse player, to be a Stanford men's basketball player, and wear that proud for the rest of my life. So seeing how Coach Smith and these guys transform this program from day one, and looking into year two next year and year three and beyond, all that really excites me. So it should be great.
The hometown kid, CCast_ on X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it nowadays. Better known as Cole Kastner, Virginia lacrosse player, now Stanford forward for the basketball team. Greatly appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.